Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Aptitude Club. Hope all of you are doing well. So this is the PYQ series, and if you're new to my channel you can explore the previous videos on the PYQ sessions. So previous questions of CAT, I'm taking one slot at a time and breaking into three parts so that it would be easier for you to cover them, like not all the questions at once but 6 to 7 questions per video. So you can cover it at a good pace if you go like that. So every slot I'm breaking into three parts and then covering. So you can check out the previous slot videos. So this is CAT 2024 slot 1 part 1. Okay, and we'll have 7 questions in this, and I'll take you through the solutions and certain insights that we can be like we can use them during the exam. Maybe let's say to get a better approach, or maybe sometimes to leave that question if it is a time taking one, or maybe keep it as a round 2 question. So what all things should we consider while solving? Of course we'll be going through the solutions of each and every question, but then what are the challenges, what can be certain tricky areas that we may get trapped and waste our time. So I'll take you through all those, and let's see how the video goes on. So stay tuned, and if you like my solutions and the explanation, so do subscribe to the aptitude. All right, starting with the first question. A fruit seller has a total of 187 fruits consisting of apples, mangoes and oranges. The number of apples and mangoes are in the ratio 5 is to 2, and after she is sell 75 apples, 26 mangoes and half of the oranges, the ratio of the number of unsold apples to the number of unsold oranges becomes 3 is to. Typical ratio question. I'll categorize it as a round one but a little calculation intensive. The round one, nothing difficult about the question, very simple and very basic question, but we'll have to be careful about two things. One is the consideration of variables. Okay, no need to assume unnecessary variables. We'll try and keep the question in one variable as possible, and then calculation, we'll have to be careful about that part. And it is a theta question, so we don't have options to approximate quickly. So let's see how to solve. Now total 187 fruits, and there are three types of fruits. I have apples, let's say they are denoted by A. I have mangoes denoted by M, and I have oranges denoted by O. The number of apples and mango are in the ratio 5 is to 2. So I'll take apples as 5x and mangoes as 2x. So this total becomes 7x. Often people take let the number of oranges be y. Now there's nothing wrong about it, but try and avoid the second variable. So if apple mango total is 7x and total number of fruits is 187, so number of oranges becomes 187 minus 7x. So I kept everything in one variable. Now after she sells 75 apples, so how many apples are left? So if I'm looking at sold, quantity sold, 75 apples are sold, and 26 mangoes are sold, and half of the oranges, 187 minus 7x by 2. So these many apples, mangoes and oranges are sold. So how many left? 5x minus 75 apples are left. 26, sorry, 5x minus 75 apples are left. 2x minus 26 mangoes are left, and again half of the oranges, because half is sold, so half is left. Simple so far, nothing difficult about it. And it is saying the ratio of the number of unsold, left basically is unsold. So unsold apples to unsold oranges, this ratio is given to us as 3 is to 2. Now we just have to solve and find x. So let's take it to the next slide. So I have 5x minus 75 divided by 187 minus 7x divided by 2. This ratio is given to us as 3 is to 2. Now this 2 will get to the numerator and multiply, and 2 cross multiplied. So I'm going stepwise, and 3 times 187 minus 7x. and this 2 again will be multiplied here, so 2 times 2. So 1 2 is the denominator part going to the numerator, and this 2 is because of cross multiplication. So 4 into 5x is 20x, minus 4 into 75 is 300. 3 times 187, 180 and 7, 3 times 180 is 540, plus 3 times 7 is 21, so 561 minus 21x. So I'm getting 41x is equal to 861. Now 41, 861. 41 into 20 is basically 820, and if I add another 41 it becomes 861. So basically 41 into 20 is 860. I'm getting x as 21. Very simple. Just it depends how comfortable I am in calculating, multiplying, adding, subtracting. We'll have to be careful about this. Now once we get x, then let's see what the question is asking. It is saying the total number of unsold fruits. Total number of unsold fruit. Total number of unsold fruits, if you see, we can calculate it from here. X I have got as 21. Just put it here. 5 times 21 is 105 minus 75. I get 30. And here it is 2 times 21. 42 minus 26. I get 16. And 187 minus 7 times 21 is 147 by 2. So 187 minus 147 is 40, by 2 it is 20. So 30 plus 20 it is 50, plus 16 it is 50. Total number of unsold fruits is 60. Very basic question and a definite must solve question in the exam. It should not take us more than 1 minute, maximum 1.5 minutes, not more than that. If our foundation on ratio is clear, assumptions of variable part is sorted, and we are decent enough in our calculation, it should not take us more than 1.5 minutes, and definitely must solve question in the exam. Hope this part is clear. There can be multiple approaches also. If you would have approach in say any other way, also good to go, but my advice would be to lessen the number of variables until and like unless absolutely necessary. Do not jump to take two variables. Alright, next question is on surds, square root of surds. And in fact this was a very tricky question. Okay, and definitely a round 2 question in the exam. I'll tell you why. Now let's see, it is saying a plus bn is the positive square root of 29 minus 12 root 5. How do I calculate square root of surds? Square root of surds. 29 minus 12 root 5. So whenever I have this 29 minus 12 root 5, so I'll try and convert it into a plus or minus b whole square. Now this becomes a square plus b square plus or minus 2ab. Of course I'll go with a minus b whole square here, where the rational part corresponds to a square plus b square, and this third part should be my 2ab. Now I'll try, it's pure hit and trial after this point. I'll try and see what can be a and b, so that a square plus b square becomes 29. I have to split this as 2ab. So 12 root 5, if you split it as 2ab, so it is 2 into root 5 into 6. Now if this is a, then a square becomes 5, and if b is 6, then b square becomes 36. So this case is not possible, because a square plus b square is going to be 41. So what I'll do is I'll write it like this: 2 into 2 root 5 into 3. So if 2 root 5 is a, then a square becomes 20, and if b is 3, then b square becomes 9, and a square plus b square becomes 29. So I can write this now as 2 root 5 whole square plus 3 whole square minus 2 into 3 into 2 root 5. So it is 3 minus 2 root 5, whole square, because positive square root it is given. So let me write it as 2 root 5 minus 3. So it becomes 2 root 5 minus 3 whole square. So 29 minus 12 root 5 can be written as 2 root 5 minus 3 whole square. Now to be able to solve this question, we should know this process first. How to calculate square root of such. If we don't know the process, then it becomes difficult. So once we have reached here, so what will be the positive square root of this? Now if 29 minus 12 root 5 is this much, so can I write square root of 29 minus 12 root 5? Square root of 29 minus 12 root 5 as square root of 2 root 5 minus 3 whole square. So this becomes 2 root 5 minus 3. As per the question, it is saying the positive square root can be denoted as a plus b root n. That means a plus b root n is 2 root 5 minus 3. So let me write it as minus 3 plus 2 root 5 in that structure. So clearly a will be minus 3 and b will be 2 and n is 5, getting the values. Now this part was easy, but the tricky part in the question here is, question is saying what is the maximum possible value. The moment you read this, why has the question written maximum possible value when I got only one square root? It's not like I got multiple square roots and multiple values of a, b and n. So why is the question writing maximum possible value? Means there are multiple values possible, but square root is going to be 2 root 5 minus 3. So if there is only one value, how come I'll get multiple values? That is the tricky part in the question. So the moment I read this maximum, it should immediately click me that okay, there has to be multiple values. Then it should strike us that although the square root is only 1, I'll have to write it in a way. Okay, write it in a way so that it looks like it can give us a like higher value than this. Because if I add this a plus b plus n, I get 4. You see 4 is there in the option. Sorry, I think I missed the options, but I think 4 was there in the options. I made it a theta question anyways. So what will be the maximum value? So I'll minus 3 plus 2 root 5. Let me write like this, minus 3. Now 2 root 5. Can I write it as 2 root 5 as square root of, if I take this inside, okay, if I take this inside, so 2 becomes 4 square root of 20. I can write like this. So now a becomes minus 3, b becomes 1 and n becomes 20. This is, I can like another way of writing the same expression. And now if I write a plus b plus n, you see I'm getting 18, but here I got 4. There were two possible values, but because the question wrote maximum, it should immediately click me, because a lot of people did a mistake here, because once they calculated the square root, so they got corresponding a, b and n. But then we don't have to necessarily write it in this form. I can write it in the second form, square root of 20. 2 root 5 can be written as 1 root 20. That was the catch. Now here b plus n is 7, but b plus n is 21 now. We should be careful while reading the question. That is why I said in the beginning, this is a round 2 question, because we are more likely to make a mistake in such. Okay, so very good question, and quite like smart on behalf of the examiner to set a question like this. Just one word changes the game entirely. Okay, hope this part is clear. Let's go to the next part. Again, working on surds. When I look at this question, working on surds, this is to find the sum of all real values of k for which this equation holds true. Now let's look at this number 32768. I have a 8 here. I have a 32768. Let's try and see what this number 32768 is. The 5-digit number. Let me break it down. So 8 4, then 0, 8 9 6. 4096 is a comfortable number. 2 to the power 12. So I can again go with 8. So 8 4 8 5 I can do 512. Basically it is 800, 8 to the power 5 now. 512, which is 864 and 88. So this number 3267768 is basically 8 to the power 5. So now because I know this number, so let me write everything in terms of 8. The first part becomes 1 by 8 whole to the power k into 1 by 32768 to the power 1 by 3 is equal to 1 by 8 to the power 1 to 1 by 32768 to the power 1 by k. So I'll bring this term to the LHS and I'll take this term to the RHS. Now in the LHS 1 by 8, in the RHS this 1 by 8 was multiplied. So on this side it will be divided. So 1 by 8, just for your understanding I'm going step by step, divided by 1 by 8 to the power 1 is 1 by this 32768, let me write it as 8 to the power 5 whole to the power 1 by k divided by 1 by 8 to the power 5 to the power 1 by 3. And we'll apply the simple properties of like indices here. Divided means I'll write it as k minus 1, and this is 1 by 8 to the power 5. I get 1 by k minus 1 by 3, or I can simplify and write it as 1 by 8 to the power k minus 1 is 5. I can take it out and 5 will be multiplied, so I'll get 5 by k minus 5 by, because the bases are same I can equate the indices. So k minus 1, 5 by k minus 5 by 3. I get an equation like this. So it is going towards quadratic now, because on one side k is in the numerator and on the other side it is in the denominator. So k minus 1, this is, let me do it this way, let's take k to one side and the constants to another side. After this is easy now, nothing difficult after this. So k minus 5 by k is like 1 minus 5 by 3. So I get k square minus 5 divided by k, this is minus 2 by 3, or I get 3k square minus 15 is equal to minus 2k, or I get 3k square plus 2k minus 15 is equal to 0. Now because this is a quadratic equation, I'll get two values of k. Two values of k. Question was saying find the sum of all real values of k. Now will we get real values or imaginary values? So quickly let's calculate discriminant. Discriminant, if I calculate b square minus 4 into a into c is minus 15. In any quadratic equation you should have solved. You see a, b is positive and c is negative, the most likely the discriminant is going to be positive, because minus minus will be plus. 4 into 3, 12 into 15 is 180. So I get 184, which is greater than 0. So I'll get real roots. So I don't have to find the roots. Question is saying sum of possible values of k. So basically sum of the roots I'll have to calculate. Sum of the roots is minus b by a. So it is minus 2 by 3. That is the answer. I don't have to waste time in solving this quadratic polynomial and then calculate its roots. Not needed. Sum of all real values of k means sum of the roots of this quadratic polynomial. So it is minus 2 by 3. Again a round one question, and everyone should do this. Just a little bit of quadratic towards the end, but initial part was just figuring out 32768 is 8 to the power 5 and then working on. So out of the first three questions, definitely, or like the two of them, 1 and 3, are definitely doable, and we should have done this in the exam. Question number 2 was a little tricky, but we can keep it for round 2. All right, let's go to question number 4. Graphs. Okay, very far, like, good question. A little difficult, so I'll keep it in round 2. If you know graphs, then it is not difficult. Okay, but then not everyone was able to solve this. A little challenging also, but a good question. Someone who is comfortable with graphs will really love to solve this question. Now, what is this question? Let's try and see. So, well, we'll have to find the region defined by these inequalities. So, basically, area bounded. I'll have to calculate area bounded. Okay, area bounded. I'll have to calculate. Now, y greater than equal to x plus 4. Y equal to x plus 4 is a linear inequality. So, basically, a line and either the area above the line or below the line. So, this part we don't have a problem. We'll draw it later. Let's try and figure out this part. What is this saying? X square plus y square plus 4 times x minus y. One side it is less than equal to 0, on the other side it is greater than equal to minus. X square plus 4x plus y square minus 4y. I'll write like this. When you see x square y square, it should instantly click in your mind that it's a circle. But I'll have to bring it to the form of a circle equation. So it is x square plus 2 into x into 2 plus 2 square. Similarly, y square minus 2 into y into 2 plus 2 square. I added 2 square here and 2 square here. Total 8 I have added, which was not present earlier, so I'll subtract 8. Now to remove this minus 8, I'll add 8 on all sides. 8 minus 4 is 4. This is x plus 2 whole square, and this is y minus 2 whole square less than equal to 8. Basically, I have two circles. On one side I have x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square, which is equal to 4, that is 2 square. Because circle equation, standard form of a circle equation is x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square is equal to r square, where r is the radius and a and b is the center. Basically represents the coordinates of the center. So on one side it is this, and on the other side I'll have x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square. I have 8, which is 2 root 2 square. So here the center of both the circles same, minus 2 and 2. It has to be in this form, x minus a whole square plus y minus b whole square. It is x minus minus 2 whole square and y minus 2 whole square. Center is minus 2 and 2, and the radius is different. Basically concentric circles. I have two concentric circles. If I can make idea about this, then a lot of it is easier now. So let's look at the concentric circles. So they will look something like this. This is the center. Center is minus 2, 2. This point is 2 and this point is minus. So I have x square plus y square is equal to 2 square, and x square plus y square is equal to 2 root 2 square. See, I have drawn this circle, but in the exam, try and make sense of this. The second circle will pass through origin. Why? Because if this is 2, the radius of the first circle is 2, then this part will obviously be 2 root 2. That means the second circle will pass through the origin. First, I should be clear about my diagram that way. Okay. Now let us figure out these points. What is this point? This is a point on the second circle. Change this. This is x plus 2 and y. X plus 2 whole square plus y minus. This is x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 2. Now how to figure out this point? This is a point on the second circle on y-axis. So in this equation you put x is equal to 0. So when x is equal to 0, then 2 square is 4, 2 root 2 square is 8, 8 minus 4 is 4, which is y minus 2 whole square. 2 square, so I get y is equal to 4. You can put it in the second equation and check x equal to 0. So this point is 0, 4. Similarly, what is this point? Because when we are drawing, try and see where the graph cuts the axis. That is very important. What is this point? This is a point where the second circle cuts x-axis. X-axis means y is 0. You put y is equal to 0, you'll get x is equal to minus 4. So this point is minus 4, 0. So far I have this. So I'm clear with the circle part. Now let's come to the inequality part. So if I look at this, x plus 2 whole square plus y minus 2 whole square is less than equal to 8. Means I'll have to go for a region below the circle. And greater than equal to 4 means above the inner circle and below the outer circle. Basically this is my area. It's kind of a ring now. Gives me a ring. Alright. Hope till this point it is clear. So I'll have to have this idea that it was a circle. Then I'll get two circles. On one side it is greater than equal to 4 and on the other side it is less than equal to. So it's the area between those two. Now let's go to the linear inequality part. Y is greater than equal to x plus. So had y been equal to 4, how the line would look like? X is equal to 0, y is equal to 4, and y is equal to 0, x is equal to minus 4. And basically the two lines. Now do we know it is going to pass through the center or not? Let's check. In this, if I put my center x equal to minus 2 and y equal to 2, does it satisfy this? If I put x equal to minus 2, minus 2 plus 4, y is equal to, satisfies. That means my line will pass through the center. Now I get a beautiful diagram. So I get a line which passes through the center of both concentric circles, and y should be greater than x plus 4. So which line should I take? Y greater than x plus 4. So if I put the origin, so should origin be my part of area? How to check 0, 0? Is 0 greater than 0 plus 4? No. I'll have to go for this area. The area above the line. Y greater than x. But either ways, it is half of the ring. Area is half of the ring. Area that we want to calculate. Because I got the ring area. Ring area is now easy. But total ring area I don't have to take. I'll have to take half because the line goes through the center and it's kind of a diameter to both the circles. Because it's a linear inequality, either I'll have to go for the left part or the right part, greater than equal to. Suppose in the exam you're not able to figure out whether it is the upper half or the lower half, but at least you know it is one of the halves. Half of the ring means half of pi. First radius is 2 root 2 square and the second is 2 square. So it is half of pi is 8 minus 4. Basically my area bounded is 2 pi. Very good question. Very good question, and the sense of graphs is very much needed. We'll have to be really comfortable with the algebra part here. Okay, that doesn't mean we should skip this question or skip these topics. Someone who like has covered all the topics, you will find it a little convenient to boost your score in the exam, because if you are competing in that league 99.9, 99.7, 99.5, you don't have to have a score like that. Have to have idea on all topics. Okay, try and get to the roots of it, especially if you're starting now. You have a lot of time. Go to the depth of every topic. Try and have that fundamental clarity, the cues that I can pick when I'm seeing the information given in the question, how to think about a question, not just the solution. Okay, how to think. why to approach a question in this particular. How do I get this idea that, oh, this question should have been solved in this manner? How do I decide even before I have solved that, okay, this is going to be a round 2 or a round 1, or it's going to be a lengthy calculation thing? That sense is more important. That is precisely aptitude. Mathematics is are the chapters, but aptitude is our ability to solve or the decision that I'll solve or not. Because based on that, I'll be able to manage my time in there. Right? Okay, let's go to this one. Time and work. Time and work. Time and work typically, like I take it as round 1 questions. For me, it is round 1. Sometimes the questions lately have been a little trickier. Okay, so we'll have to see and then work accordingly. Now it is saying Renu would take 15 days working 4 hours a day. That means 15 into 4. Renu takes 60 hours to complete a certain task. Whereas Seema would take 8 days working 5 hours per day to complete the. So 8 into 5, 40 hours. So let's quickly calculate Renu and Seema working efficiency. Now there is a task for which Renu is taking 60 hours and Seema is taking 40 hours. So let the total work be 120 parts. 120 is the LCM of 60 and 40. LCM approach. Why take LCM? Convenience of calculation. You see how it becomes convenient. So Renu is doing 120 parts in 60 hours. So per hour Renu is doing only 2 parts. So because I took 120, so dividing it by 60 is easier. That's the reason I'm taking LCM. 120 parts in 40 hours again is 3 parts per hour by. So I know they're working efficient. Now let's go to the question. They decide to do the work together to complete the task. Seema agrees to work for double the number of hours per day as Renu. Renu, whatever hours she will work, Seema will do double the number of hours. While Renu agrees to work for double the number of days as Seema. Now, if Renu works 2 hours per day, then the number of days that Seema will work. Now, it's not that difficult. Let's list down it here. So I have Renu and I have Seema. In the question it is given Renu works 2 hours per day. Now if Renu is working 2 hours, question is saying Seema agrees to work double the number of hours as Renu. So Seema will be working 4 hours. We don't know how many days they are taking. So let us say Seema takes X days. So Renu will work for double the number of days. Double the number of days is now 2x days. X days and 2x days. And we know per hour Renu does 2 parts and per hour Seema does 3 parts. So if I calculate the total amount of work done by Renu, Renu is working 2 hours per day. Per hour she is doing 2 parts. So in 2x days, this is the work done by her. And Seema is working 4 hours. Per hour she does 3 parts and she is working for x days. That is my total work, which is 120. So I can cancel out P. So 2 into 2 into 2, I have 8x plus 4 into 3 into x, 12x is equal to 120. So 20x is equal to 120. That gives us x is equal to 6. What was x? X is the number of days that Seema is working. That is what the question was asking. The number of days that Seema will work. So that is 6. Easy. This was a round 1 question. And definitely must solve question in the exam. Okay? Quite easy. But we'll have to be careful about the given conditions. Understand the question very carefully. Take your time always to read the question, understand it, what is it given, then decide what all tools that I know and how should I approach this, how should I structure the information in my mind, and then proceed with the question. Okay? It shouldn't be chapter biased. It's not like I don't like this chapter, I'll not. Shouldn't behave that way in the exam. We should be more practical and a like more pragmatic person when we are like judging the questions. Read it, spend good 30 seconds, 40 seconds to understand. You feel okay, I am not able to see the answer clearly, not able to frame equations properly, not able to grasp this information in a proper way, then only leave and go to the, okay. Let's see this one. Now this is a percentage question, belongs to the area percentage. In September, incomes of Kamal, Amal and Bimal are in the ratio 8 is to 6 is to 5. They rent a house together and Kamal pays 15%, Amal pays 12% and Bimal pays 18% of their respective income to cover the total house rent in that month. So let's look at this. September, I have Kamal, I have Amal and I have Bimal. So what is their income? September income. Let's 8 is to 6 is to 5. I'll take 800x, 600x and 500x. I didn't take 8, 6 and 5. I took it in hundreds so that percentage calculation will be convenient. So let's see the rent part. Kamal is paying 15%. So 15% of 800x, 10% is 80, 5% is 40, 15% is 120. Amal pays 12%. 1% is 6x, 12% is 72x. And Bimal pays 18%, 1% is 5x, so 18% is 90x. So I get total rent is 120 plus 90, 210 plus 72, it is 82. This is the total rent. Next it is saying in October, the rent remains unchanged. That means this is the rent in October as well. This is the October rent as well as the September rent. So the rent is not changing. September and October rent is same, but their incomes have changed. So Kamal's income is, it was 800x and the increase is 10%, which is 80x. So the new income of Kamal is 880x. Already we have calculated 12% for Amal. So 600x plus 72x. The new income is 672x. And for Bimal it is 15%. So Bimal's income was 500x. 15% of 500x will be 75x. So 575. So really it's a calculation game now. Nothing very difficult. So how quickly and comfortably you can calculate the values depends on that. So what is the total October? We'll have to calculate percentage of the total income that will be paid as house rent. We already know the house rent. We already have the individual incomes. Just calculate total income and then percentage. So what is the total income? Total income here is for Kamal it is 880 and for Amal 672. Then for Bimal it is 575. So 2 plus 5 it is 7 and then 8, 7, 15 and 22. Then this is 2 plus 8, 10, 16, 5, 21, 2127. Check, did I do it correct? 2 plus 5 is 7, then 7 plus 7 plus 8, 22. Then carry 2, correct, 2127x. So I'll have to basically calculate this rent, that is 282x is what percentage of 2127. So x gets cancelled out. Simple 282, it is what percentage of 2127. That is what we have to calculate. Now comes the skill. Now in CAD the calculators are allowed, so you can use the calculators. Let's say calculators were not allowed. So 2127 is 100%. So 10% of it is 212.7. Let's round it up to 213. Let's say that is a round figure, 213. So out of 282, 213 is gone. How much is left? So 69 is left. 69 is left. I'll have to see 69 is what percent. Now 1%, 21.27. So 3% is almost around 63.81. This is close to 3. So if I'm adding 10% and 3%, I'm getting 13% is 212.7, and this is 212 plus 63 becomes 275, and this is 276 point something already. 21 2.7 and 276 already, so I can't go much beyond because it is 282. So roughly it should be around 13%. Roughly. CATME calculators are allowed, so you can easily use calculators. I'm just saying a way to approximate in your mind. So roughly it should be 13%, so 13.26. Only available option is 13. Had all options been in 13, then we could have gone for a detailed calculation. But here only one option was there, so easy. Alright, again a round one and a must solve question. The exam. So far, if we see till question number 6, I have almost only 2 questions for round 2, 4 questions for round 1. Okay, 4 questions you could have solved easily. Let's go to this one, algebra. This question is from algebra, functions part, and fundamentals of functions. So I have 2 sets. First set is A, and the elements are 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and 13. So the cardinality of A here is 6 elements. And then I have another set B which has 1, 8 and 7. So cardinality of B here is 3. 6 elements in A and 3 elements in B. Now let's say f is a function which is defined from set A to set B, such that for every element in B, this language matters, every element in B, there is at least one element in A such that f of A equal to B. This is the condition or the definition of the function. F of A is equal to B. So this is like a property of the function. This actually doesn't matter. What matters is the part where, let's say this, I'll try and do a mapping. So this is 2, 3, 5, 7, 11 and 13. And on the other side I have 1, 8 and 7. This is set A and this is set B. And I'm drawing functions from set A to set B. Is saying for every element in B there is at least one element in A. So basically, can I write every element in B is mapped, and when I'm drawing functions from A to B, then this set B becomes my codomain. Those of you who have not studied functions, you need to read the basics of functions first. This was a pretty direct question. Direct question if I know the fundamentals of functions. Once B is codomain and every element in B, that is the codomain. If every element in codomain is mapped, that means basically I'm looking to onto function. Function is said to be onto if every element in the codomain is definitely. And because at least one element in A is there which is mapping to the element of B, so maybe the mapping would look like this. I'm just showing an example. Every element in B is mapped to at least one element in A. Maybe one element in B can be mapped to more elements in A. So as I said, 1 is mapped to 2 and 3, 7 is mapped to 7, 11, 13. Okay, we don't know the property of function here, but I'm just showing you what the language of this question meant. So it is on to function, and we don't have to get confused with f of a equal to b. We don't know which property the function is using, whether it is 2x or x plus 3 or what. Function is not given to us, property of the function is given. But with any given property, if all the elements in the codomain are mapped, that means the question is asking to calculate the total number of onto functions. And total number of onto functions process is very easy. If n of a is 6 and n of b is 3, then total onto functions, mutual exclusion and inclusion principle will use. Total number of functions is 3 to the power 6 minus 3c1, 3 minus 1 to the power 6. plus 3c2, 3 minus 2 to the power 6, minus 3c3, 3 minus 3 to the power 6. This is how we calculate number of onto functions. So 3 to the power 6 is 729, 3c1 is 3, 2 to the power 6 is 64, 3c2 is 3 into 1 minus 0. So I get 732 minus 3 into 64 is 190. 73 minus 19 is 50. If you know what onto function is and how to calculate the number of onto functions, this was a direct question. But a lot of people did not solve this in the again because they not because they were not able to solve this, just because they have not read this. A lot of people would have skipped the fundamentals of function, thinking not a lot of questions are being asked from it. So when we see in algebra there is function, so we should understand the fundamentals of what a function is, what is domain, what is codomain, what is range, how to find codomain, how to find range, how to find domain, and then what are the types of functions, what is a bijective function, what is a onto function, what is a one-on-one function, different types of functions, what are their domains. We should get into that. Okay? So the more we like put our mind into it, the more are our chances of solving a question in the exam. Maybe not a lot of others are solving. Okay? If you want to have a very high score, especially because you are starting now, okay, so you should pay attention to such topics, because you never know, you can have an extra brownie point from that part. If not direct questions, it helps us understand functions in a very detailed manner, because modulus is also a function, logarithm is also a function, greatest integer is also a function. So every time we deal with a question on functions, the basic sense and fundamentals do come into play. Okay, the answer is 540. That was it pretty much for this session. So 7 questions I discussed on part 1. Next part again I'll bring another like set of questions, and I'll complete slot 1 of cat 2024 in 3 parts. So stay tuned to my channel, and if you liked the explanation and if you have watched it so far, do like and subscribe to Aptitude Club channel, and explore my previous videos as well, the QA boosters videos and LRDI expert series. Okay, and we'll meet again soon in yet another video. Till then, have a good day. Thank you. Bye bye.